church, everybody. If you know it, would y'all help me say it? Water you turned into wine. Hey, there's... Come on, everybody in the building, raise his hand. It's none like you. Into the darkness, hey. Out of the ashes we rise. There's no one. Come on, raise it up, everybody, raise it. It's none. Come on, let's put it together as a family. Our God is greater. Our God is greater. Stronger. Our God is stronger. God, you are higher than any other. Our God is healer. He's ultimate. Our God is greater, sir. Stronger. God, you are higher. Our God is healer. He's ultimate power. Our God. Hey, and if our God is for us, then who? And if our God is with us, what can stand? And if our God is for us, then who? And if our God is with us, what can stand? And if our God is for us, then who? And if our God is with us, what can stand? And if our God is, then who? And if our God is with us.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Nights at the Roundtable. Tonight, we have a special edition for you all. These are the heirs to the throne. This is the Lighthouse Youth and Young People edition. We have been talking about, if you have been joining us for the past couple of Mondays, talking about the things that are going on right now. The topic has been racism, and we just want to get an outlook from our youth today. And I'm going to start with going around and letting everybody introduce themselves, their names, age, and where they're from. So we're going to start on this end with youth.
Hello, my name's Tate. 17, from St. Louis.
Hello, my name's Al. 18, from Belleville.
My name's CJ. 16, from Belleville, Illinois.
My name is Gregory Larry. I'm 15 years old from East St. Louis, Illinois.
My name is Kyla. I'm 16 from Shiloh.
My name is Abby. I'm 17 from Belleville.
My name is Kenya. I'm 22 from Belleville.
Okay, and I am Brandy. I did the ladies last week, and I'm from St. Louis. Today we're going to go over a couple of questions and topics, and we're going to get everybody's views or thoughts and feelings about it tonight. I just want to welcome you all and thank you all for coming. And we're just going to hop into it. So our first question is going to be, how did you all feel about the recent incident with George Floyd? And we're going to start down here with you, Kenya.
Okay. Well, I was over at my grandma's when I first watched the video for the first time, and my overall feeling was just disappointment, but I realized that I was more disappointed with the officers that were around that didn't do anything for the most part, because I'm like, you see this other cop basically killing this man and you don't step in or say anything at all. So yeah, my overall feeling about that was disappointment.
Disappointment, yeah. I understand that. I kind of felt the same way. It's a lot of watching going on nowadays and a lot of recording instead of action. What about you?
I didn't actually watch the whole video or like most of the video, but I've seen clips of it. So within those clips, I felt like there's something that they could have done something. Like they're just watching, looking around. They try to justify their actions when they know that what they did was wrong. So.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the same thing that goes on around the world. Like people pull out a phone before they, or pull out a phone to record or a camera, anything, before they actually call the cops to get emergencies there.
So y'all feel like y'all was more mad that there was nothing being done. Like everybody watched it instead of stepping in and stopping this one person. Y'all feel like the world could have helped him at that moment.
Yeah.
Instead of just watching.
And I also have a problem with like what they did, what was dead in general, like what those men did to George Floyd, what they did to him. He's sitting there saying he can't breathe. Still got his, treat him like a dog.
Right.
That's what they.
When I watched it, I think I was in Mississippi. We was on a trip, and I remember Pastor Byron first saying something about it because they was on the news. And I remember the main part was like when he was like crying out for his mom. And it's like at that point I feel like the police officers could have said it's enough. But
Right.
I mean the fact that they didn't just shows that they have like literally no heart. Like they don't care for black lives, any lives for that matter. They don't care.
Yeah, it's not only that they don't care, it's like they feel they have the authority to do to us as they want or as they
Right.
please. It's like, to be a cop, it doesn't take that long to actually pass the process of being a cop, but to be a doctor takes way longer. Even in the military, you have to go through months and months of basic training and, stuff like that. And I just feel like we have the wrong people in the police force.
And I feel like our government could do a better job. I was looking up, like, it takes months to become a cop in the United States, but almost everywhere across the seas, it takes years in a college, or it takes years of training before you can actually become a cop.
Yeah,
So I feel like they just putting people out on the streets. They thinking that more cops is gonna make it, any better. Besides putting funding into better. Well, the funding is not an issue. First off, I feel like the money going to waste. That's how I feel, because, like, what are the cops really doing? And where's bulks of them in New York, and what are they really doing besides beating up the people, yelling at them? I feel like, I know that it's dirty cops out there planting drugs. Like, you ever seen videos of cops planting drugs everywhere and stuff?
I just saw a video of a cop planting a gun on YouTube. This black man was recording it. They were just doing it like they didn't have a care in the world.
Yeah.
Like nothing would happen to them.
So y'all feel like they are abusing their power instead of helping. They're abusing their power, and then also that it's a lot of unqualified people on the force. They don't have to do as much as everybody else to get in a position, like doctors and teachers. It don't take long, so they just letting any and everybody and not making sure that they're stable enough and that they can handle the position that they're in.
Yeah, and then their excuse is so nonchalant. It's like, oh, we have a couple bad apples in the police force. There shouldn't be any bad apples. There's no bad apples in the medical field, or
Or very few.
Yeah.
But see, with them, it's different. They have certain consequences. And with the police force, it's not really the same type of thing where if you, like a doctor, if they do something wrong, they lose their license, right? So do y'all feel like with the cops, it should be some type of consequence like that? They should lose their job, not be able to go back somewhere else in a different department. They shouldn't be able to be cops. They should lose their pensions.
But some things, I feel like, for some things, that may not even be enough. Taking multiple lives, and still being out there, or being, or there being a time in the future where you could still go back.
Right.
And I remember watching a video of like one of the cops that had to do with the killing of George Floyd. He was walking around a store, and a lady was like, "You feel like you can walk around freely knowing what you did?" And he was just like, all right. He was like, "Are you sorry?" He was like, "Not really." And like the fact that he really didn't have any kind of like he didn't care. And or he's dead. Like at this point you should be like, what I did was wrong. But the fact that you don't care still after all this time shows that you really have a horrible heart.
See, my issue with like the law enforcement and everything is like this isn't the first situation that's happened. Like this isn't even the first one that's been recorded, and it's still happening. Like there's no consequences for real. Like even when they said they caught the man who killed George Floyd, that doesn't even look like the same dude, like or whatever. And it's just like it has to come to like an end at this point because they're literally out here killing us. Like we're dying, and it's not the first time it's happened. Not the first time it's been recorded, and at this point the recording doesn't even matter anymore.
Because they seeing it and still there's no consequence.
And I like the way I think some of the men put it on the earlier sessions. A lot of them said that it was literally a modern day lynching, like literally, like dudes being killed in front of a bunch of people for everybody to see.
For everybody
that's down
to
there in
see.
Texas.
There was this one video that I saw on Instagram recently, and it was this man. He was in his car, and there's two cops. One had opened the passenger side of his door, and then the other one was like on the driver's side. And they were just yelling at this man, telling him to get out the car. They wouldn't tell him what he did wrong, and he's recording the whole thing. Then they eventually opened his car door, unbuckled his seatbelt, and pulled him out of his car. The whole time he's recording, they haven't read him his rights, none of that. I just think it has to come to an end at this point.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think they're punishing them hard enough because at this point, it's like they're not even afraid to do what they want to us. It's like, you know, at this point, refresh the whole, you know, law enforcement, get other people.
So you think getting new people will help?
I think better trained people or better people with a better mindset, not only to get a paycheck or seeing crime as a, you know, as a way to get paid or as a living. It's like you gotta remember that it's your duty to protect and serve your people in your country, in your America, you know? I just think that mindset was lost.
And I mean, like what you said about getting new people. I mean, it don't matter how many new people we get. At the end of the day, we're still going to have those few that feel some type of way because their hearts are messed up. They have messed up hearts. And it's like, you can't do nothing about that. We can protest. We can break stores for all we care. We can do all this. And at the end of the day, if nobody's heart's right, there's no change that's going to happen.
How much of this do y'all see in other parts of the world?
I don't see a lot of racially profiling and injustice in like any other parts of the world. I don't see it a lot, and like you don't see it broadcast in like Germany and Europe. You don't see a lot of that. Yeah. You see more of it here.
They train people across the sea. They're better trained to do.
And we're supposed to
bring justice.
And we're supposed to be this big melting pot.
Right, and and as kids, we're told that cops are supposed to protect and serve and bring justice to people that, you know, people that have been subject to different crimes and all that. They're protecting and serving, and they're supposed to bring justice. And they have a system. And, like, now people are starting to learn about systematic racism. And the part where it comes into, like, not being that good for our color of people.
So do y'all?
I don't know how that really makes me. You know.
So the system wasn't built for us necessarily to serve and protect us.
Even at the beginning.
From the beginning.
We got here.
Our lives.
Basically.
Like, it don't matter.
Basically.
Yeah, the policing system was actually based off of overseers for the most part.
From back in slavery.
Yep.
Okay. I want to just change gears for a little bit and just see what are you guys' experiences that you've had with racism, or after the aftermath of George Floyd, have y'all experienced any different type of, what have your friends or teachers, have you guys ran into any racism in school or work?
It was one time I was at basketball gym. My boy, he was going to the basketball gym, but he went with his brother. And his brother said he was going to take him up there.
Mm-hmm.
And the dude who took me up there, my boy Will, and he was like, he already had a membership. And he asked me because I got snuck in. And then my boy, he came later on, and he was like, you two ain't supposed to be in here. And then they saw me sneak him in. And later on, and they tried to call my parents. And then at first, he said he was going to call my parents. And I was like, all right, cool. And then I was kind of mad at the fact, but at first I still got it. And then he was like, if you guys don't cooperate, I'll call the police.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you don't have to do all that. So then we went upstairs, and then he just skipped past the parent thing. And he just went straight to the police. They started describing me and everything. The police came, and usually, I'm 16 at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't have an ID. And usually they supposed to get parent consent to take a minor's picture and put it in the system. And they didn't even do that. And I feel like that was just pretty messed up. I didn't even ask my mom or none of that to take a picture of it and put it in the system.
So you feel like they just do as they please with
Yeah, like that bad. Like they act like that badge is just.
And also, I mean, to an extent, like, that's just the way that they think. They think that automatically, as soon as they see a black male, we've already done something wrong. As soon as they pull up to the scene and it's a black male, they automatically assume something is wrong.
without checking it out
Exactly.
first.
Yeah, they criminalize us without actually, having a full evidence or story to make that assumption. Like, you can't assume that everybody is suspicious of, criminal activity. Like in his case, I just think they could have handled that a lot better than actually banning him from that place, because he got banned, and they did the wrong thing. Honestly, they systemized him into being a criminal.
So how I look at it, at his situation is, how would it have been handled if he
It's white.
was Caucasian?
Yeah.
White.
It would have been handled a whole different way. They wouldn't have. Parents would have been called. They would have negotiated. He would have got a suspension instead of being banned.
If that, he probably would have stayed.
They probably would have stayed. They probably would have let us
Probably would have
slide.
just been a whole warning.
Right.
Like,
So how do y'all feel? I feel that just because of the color of your skin, they automatically assume you're guilty before proven.
I just like in my case, in my, experience with racism, I was involved with this altercation at school. He had slapped me in the back of my head while I was sleeping on my desk. Tried to wake me up because I was sleeping in class when I was supposed to. I told him that's not your job, That's not your priority. Your priority is sit there and learn. But yeah. Well, my first instinct was to snap back and slap him back right then and there. But I made an even dumber decision to wait after school, not after school, but after class. And I confronted him and told him, why did you do that? He said, man, it wasn't even that hard. Knowing that everybody in that class looked at it and heard the sound of of him smacking my head, it's my head hitting the desk. Because that's what had happened. That's what made me mad. My head hit the desk. So on the way out, I confronted him. He tried to walk away. I told him, this is what I told him. I said, you going to let me get my lick back, or we could just settle this right here, right now, and we could fight. So he tried to walk away. I was like, nah. I walked up behind him. and got my lick back, smacked him. I was like, you shouldn't have hit me. You hit me first, and I hits back. You know, I don't take, what you call it? Yeah, I don't take it kindly. That's yeah. So they tried to criminalize me and say I was bullied, and everybody in that classroom. There's only 3 black people in that classroom. It was welding. Everybody in that classroom was taking the white boy side, but only 2 of my friends, because 3 people including me, only 2 of my friends told them they hit that boy hard. They hit his head on the desk, and I still got suspended for 3 days, and the white boy stayed at school.
Wow.
And a child press charge.
Tried to press charges against me.
Wow.
And in my case, I remember it was like in middle school, so it was like 6th, 7th grade. I had made the basketball team, and before they didn't look at me as a threat because I didn't talk as much trash as everybody else. I didn't talk a lot, so I was just like, I let my game speak. And when I made the team, everybody looked at me as like a threat, and so they treated me as such. And there was a lot of kids, like, I went to Mascoutah Elementary School, so there was only probably 3 black kids in our 5th grade class going into middle school. And so for me going from a school where there was only 3 of us to me going to a school where Scott Air Force Base, there's kids moving in and out that are black, it was a major shift. And I remember it was only 2, if that made the 6th grade basketball. 2 black kids that made the basketball team. And I remember one day after practice, I had just took this kid's spot, and he had threw a Gatorade bottle at me. The white kid threw a Gatorade bottle at me. He said, "Pick that up." And I was like, at the time, I didn't really know how to react, because this same kid was literally my best friend the year before this. And the fact that you threw trash at me and told me to pick it up and then use the N-word in a derogatory way really made that, like, it really made a shift. It shifted my way of thought. It shifted from me thinking that all these kids are my friends to me actually realizing that none of them have my best interests at heart. And from there on, it actually got worse to the point where now, like, my basketball coach in high school, he just passed, Coach Love, he had passed away in the office at our school. And literally 30 minutes after he had passed, and they had told everybody, Country Boy went on Snapchat and said, "Another N-word down.
Wow.
Coach Love is dead."
Wow.
And everybody in that group chat was like, "Why'd you say it?" And this is a white boy group chat. All of them were like, "Why'd you say it? Why'd you say it?" He was like, "It's a joke. Don't take it that way. It's just a joke." And
it's never just a joke.
And literally, to this day, they're still trying to figure out what they want to do with him. They're thinking about letting him go back to school. But if that would have been me talking about a teacher, if I would have went on social media and said, "Oh yeah, such and such," they would have, no doubt, they would have probably kicked me out the same week. Never let me come back. The fact they're even thinking about letting him come back to the school is pretty messed up.
Yes. What about you, Rick? You had any experiences?
I'm still like a little starstruck from hearing all 3 of this stuff. That was like, that's deep. But I haven't really had that many like situations that bad, because I never was the type to put myself in those like situations where I know that is no one like me to defend me, or very little people like me. So I went to East Side. I went to all predominantly black schools. I've had a couple Caucasian teachers mean mug me every now and then, because like I had a naturally mean look when I was little. So, but I rarely ever got in trouble. So, but I got mean mug just for walking down the hallway or.
And that's literally like things that I literally had to deal with at Mascoutah. Cause I remember one time, math class, there was only 2 black kids in a math class. And my mom had like emailed the teacher and said that Carlos has his homework, it's turned, I have it at home, can I scan it into you? He did it, it's done. And she said no, because it's not here. And I literally said, I did it. Like, it's done. Like, I did my homework. And, like, this is, like, one of the first time I got a missing assignment, like, in her class. Like, I turn my homework in on time. I do all that. And the fact, like, she sat there and was like, no, you're not getting it. And she let another kid get his out of his locker and was like, oh, yeah, the white boy. He's like, oh, yeah, go get it out your locker. You can bring it in. And so, me not understanding, I was upset. And I'm, like, pouting. And she was like... She literally called the principal's office and said she felt threatened and thought that I was going to attack her.
Wow.
And I had to sit in the principal's office literally for 3 periods because they really thought that I was going to hit a teacher or attack a teacher.
And that's what I'm talking about. Like,
and I'm in 6th grade, only 12, if that.
Yeah.
That's why
like,
I feel white privilege is real.
Yeah. And, like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, I just think so many of the white community are, like, intimidated by us. Like, they fear us being, like, at a point of power in the hierarchy that they're going to be afraid that one day we're going to do to them as they did to us. I just think that's why the racial profiling, the systematic abuse, the police brutality, all this is just a way of oppressing us.
To keep us down. Yeah.
Because
from
they
being
know.
successful. They're keeping us down here because they don't want us to reach this point. Because when we reach this point,
They know about to rise up.
It's peace.
And I know
they don't want it to be peaceful. They want it to be controlled.
And I know, like, for a lot of athletes, it's like that too. Because, like, if you go, especially if you go to like a predominantly white school, like, you're literally like a trophy. Put it like that. They're all for you until you mess up.
Right.
And once you mess up, it's like, oh well, next one.
Man, that's...
And it's literally like, we don't ever, like, when we get our fair chance to show what we can do and we actually perform, they're like all for it. But as soon as we mess up, they don't ever give us a chance to even try again.
So I got a question for y'all, because I grew up like this too, going to schools that were predominantly white. And do you guys feel like that's a hindrance for you guys more than an advantage for you all?
To an extent.
I think, yeah, mostly. I think it's like it hinders us from really excelling or really getting into programs. I feel like, well, I know that I have a cousin that wasn't really exposed to different programs, and as the other kids were, like, sent to the house and all of that, like programs and all that, different things. And he missed out on opportunities because I feel like it has to do with his color. He wasn't really exposed. People weren't really encouraging him to do certain things and activities.
So just because he went to a white school, just because he went there, they weren't trying to give him all the privileges that the white kids got there. They weren't trying to show him all the programs that was there and give him all the information. So since y'all do go to a predominantly white school, have y'all had those experiences where it's stuff that's going on that y'all don't know about, but y'all other counterparts do?
Yes.
Or yes?
Like, for instance, I'm in ROTC. I'm in junior ROTC at my school. And there are points, like, where they literally got their first, like, because we have, like, literally, like, rank, like the military does. And there was literally points, like, where people of, like, black people didn't even get the higher roles. And I had asked the teacher about it. He was like, because we never had an application, like, we never got applications. And literally, I had a black girl in my class. She was like, I sent you 3, and you still haven't recommended me for the job. And at that point, I knew that even if I did sign up for an application, I probably wasn't going to get it over a white kid because they wanted to literally stay the same way. They don't want it to change at any point in time. And it's the same way for literally, like, anything else at school. They don't recommend us for, like, at my school, they don't recommend the black people for honors. You have to ask a teacher, how do I get an honors? And then they'll point you to the counselor's office, and they'll let you do all that. But if it's a white kid that's excelling in the class, they're going to be so quick to, oh, yeah, you're good. You should be in honors. You should do this. I'm going to recommend you for this club. But if it's a black kid, they're sure not going to do that.
All right. What about you girls over here? Have y'all had any of these experiences at school or work? I know you're on a cheerleading team. What about you?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, me, I've always went to majority white schools. I went to Whiteside, Shiloh, and I go to Fallon. So it's like, and my cheer team is majority white girls. Like, there was only 3 of us on the team last year, 3 black girls. And there was like this one incident towards the end of the cheer season, and like I remember it so vividly because it was like a whole issue. But pretty much it was, we were coming back from a game, and the varsity girls, which are like majority of the white girls, they was playing music, ghetto music, so they like to call it, right? So, and then they was singing the songs and the words and saying like the N word that was going along with the song. So the black girls on the team, we felt some type of way, and we said something about it the first time, and they felt some type of way, so they like tried to snap back, pretty much like, oh, y'all listen to it, y'all say it, why can't we say it, pretty much. So it became a whole like argument back and forth. We was going back and forth. We was arguing with them, and then they started making posts about us, calling us ghetto, ratchet, called us the N-word. Like, it was a whole issue. So then a couple of us got a little rowdy and snapped, kind of went off. And then next thing you know, they was scared. You know, they was a little scared of us because they didn't think we was going to react that way, because I guess we on the cheer team and we just can't act no certain type of way. But it ended up being a big issue, and like the parents got involved, and even after the fact, like they didn't even apologize for real. Like they were just like, oh, my bad. But they did say, oh, we're sorry for this and this and that. Like, and they didn't get no type of consequence because they had to go in a competition the next weekend. They didn't get revoked. They didn't get no privileges took. Like, they were just given a pass. And we were just like, so we get no type of justice. Y'all just gonna let them slide. Like, it was just.
Can I kind of like go off what she said? At my school, we kind of like, we have different clubs, and we have a group called FFA, which is Friendly Farmers Association, and they are all predominantly racist. Like, they have group chats where like they've literally said racist things, and they don't get in trouble for it. And it just so happens that in Black History Month, they get literally a whole week to showcase all the farming equipment they have, all the birds, all the chickens, everything, horses, all the pigs, cows, whatever, all of it. And I remember freshman year, a kid had went out there and he was like, I don't know why y'all black kids have a problem with us having FFA week in Black History Month, because without us, y'all wouldn't even came over here in the first place. And I was like, all black people screenshotted it, put it on their story, like, did y'all see this? Did y'all hear this? And the next day, I remember there's a group of black girls that pressed him about it. And when they did, he went into the office and said that they were threatening to beat him up, went in there and said, can I stay in here and do my classes the rest of the day? I don't feel safe going out there. Little did he know, people were waiting for him after school. And then he found out, he asked for the police to escort him to his bus.
See, that's the thing. Okay, so like when Caucasian people are in the wrong and are doing wrong to us, and when we actually speak up and defend ourselves, all of a sudden we dangerous and we're the bad guys and they need to be protected from us. But when it's the other way around and they're literally like pulling us out of our character, because it's not like we just go off just to go off. If y'all are literally coming for our culture pretty much, you can't expect us not to react and not to get mad. And it's not like it's one offense and we're going off. It usually takes like a couple of offenses before we just start getting mad and getting rowdy and stuff. But when we get rowdy, we're dangerous, and they want to call the cops or they want to tell principals and stuff, and then we get in trouble and they don't.
So
Believe it or not, at my school, even though after this stuff I've already told you, this year they still think that none of that stuff ever happened. They still think none of it ever happened. And we have proof. We've sent them proof. We showed them proof. And they still think that it was all just a scam. None of that really happens. And it came to the point where even up to this week, they realized it really was happening, because the principal's daughter went out there, and there's a song called Stop Snitching. And she literally went out there and said the lyrics, recorded herself saying it, whole song. And they all sent it to the principal's daughter, like, you still think it don't happen? And you we are yet to hear a response from him.
Of course not.
And I mean, I still think nothing's really going to change at the school, but at the end of the day, we got our point across.
So
It's
y'all
happening.
feel like y'all was justified, like they saw it. But so I'ma kind of put it all together for y'all, like police brutality plus what y'all go through. So the white people throw the stones and then they hide their hand,
Literally.
and then they
Exactly.
play victim. So then they feel like they can do that because they know if they run to the authority, which is usually somebody white or somebody in power,
Or to other white people.
right? They feel like they're gonna be protected, and it's kind of like the police out here right now. They feel like they can do all this stuff to y'all, to us, and be protected by what? The people who are by the system that's put in place. Just like in school, they feel like the system gonna protect them. They can do what they want, but they still gonna get protected. They gonna run and hide, tell their mamas, tell their daddies, tell the principal, but they feel like they gonna be protected. So how do y'all feel like something like this is gonna change, or do y'all even feel like it's gonna change?
I don't think it's going to change.
Let's go with Avery.
After the whole
Yeah, so we can hear you.
after the whole George Floyd incident, I've seen more people on like Instagram and Snapchat actually being more ignorant than actually trying to understand the situation. Like there's been many people like at my high school who have been caught saying certain things or typing certain things and like saying the N-word, on their social media accounts. And like at first, you didn't see a lot of that before this, but after it's like people are like purposely trying to get a reaction out of us just because they feel like, this is our chance to try to get underneath the skin. So I feel like people are like around our age now are trying to think of it as a joke rather than trying to actually see the situation as a whole.
And I don't think it's really going to change because based off what we've seen, let's rewind. Literally, Michael Brown passed, and we thought things were going to change then. Thought Trayvon Martin passed. Thought things were going to change. And we're still at step one all over again.
Saying the same thing over and over.
It's like we took one step forward and took 10 steps back at the same time. Like, how? And at the end of the day, we can protest. Like I said before, we can protest, we can riot, we can do all these riots, we can do all this, and no change is going to come because these people's hearts ain't right.
We got the system against us. We got a whole race against us. We got a whole police force around the whole nation against us.
And the president against us.
Got the president against us.
So y'all feel
Y'all
just
knocking out all the Democrats, replacing them with people that
Oppose all that.
people that supposedly can take the spot. That's
not even qualified.
not. It's not even a quality. It's just people head not even on straight, and they up there.
right.
What they up there for? What are they doing? They doing? Ain't doing nothing.
To help.
Nothing
At
to
all.
help. All they doing is making it worse.
So y'all feel like it ain't no change gonna come.
No, I don't see it.
Y'all know the song?
Unless we
It's going to be a little
I
change.
feel like some
People
can,
just too ignorant.
unless we make change.
unless we make change.
Right.
We got to change in order for it to change.
But we gotta change as well the black on black crimes that we're doing as well. We gotta
So you feel like the
stand
black,
together.
in order to progress, the black community.
We got to come
has
We
together.
gotta
to-
come
we
together.
gotta make white people stop talking about what we doing, cause we want white people to stop killing us, but only thing they're gonna say is you guys are killing each other, so why should we stop?
And we paint this, I'm not going to cap, but we paint this picture of ourselves.
Yeah.
And we literally do it every time a rap song comes out. We like it. Literally, this picture is getting painted.
But I feel like that this is just something that has been programmed into the black community. We haven't painted this picture of ourselves,
Exactly.
but this
Right.
is what
We
they're
literally-
putting out here of ourselves. We got doctors, we got lawyers, we got a whole bunch of successful people in other different type of career paths. It ain't just rap, it ain't just basketball, but that's what they gonna put out there because that's what they want y'all to see. Because they only want y'all to be that.
I forgot what I was gonna say.
And that's like that take me back to to the repression. It's like when artists when artists like hip hop artists are made, it came from, you know, our restriction from, you know, what everybody else has. Like in our community, we don't get the same benefits as other communities like St. Louis or Chicago. Not a lot of money going to Chicago or St. Louis. You know what I'm saying? And it's like everything that our artists are talking about is basically because we didn't grow up with the benefits and everything other people have.
Did you guys know that the majority of the hip hop industry is owned by white people?
That's a good
So
point.
they're basically
Taking our
putting out stereotypes for us to
Exactly.
Taking our
emulate.
coach.
Exactly. It's all like a stereotype. Go ahead.
You go. Okay, so I got two things to say for one. Okay, so about the rap thing or whatever, they can't even say like we making a stereotype for ourselves with rap because there's white rappers out there like Eminem, like 6 9 like there's so many out there who is rapping and trying. And for one, the white rappers out here is saying the N-word when they rap too. So like I don't really see how they're saying, oh, we categorizing ourselves with rap when they doing the same thing, trying to be like us, if I'm being honest. But and then back to like changing or whatever. So a week ago, I ain't gonna say his name, but somebody was listening to the song "A Change Gonna Come," right? And they got a little emotional because the video and then the songs and stuff, like stuff that was happening back in the '60s and stuff is still happening. Like there ain't been no change for real. And it's just sad because like we thinking things are gonna get better. They get better for a little bit. We go 10 steps forward and then 20 steps back. Like.
And with the whole music thing, there's been times where someone would try to ask me, oh, like what song or listen, like who do you listen to? You listen to like Drake or like all these other rappers, and I'm just in there like, you might not like what I like, you know, because I don't really listen to like a lot of rappers, for real. Like I listen to like a lot of like K-pop artists and stuff like that, and like people look at me like, oh, I wouldn't think that you would have listened to that. Thought you would have liked that. I'm like, why? Is there sort of reason why I should like? Should I listen to it because I'm black as well, and like I can't like this? And they're like, oh, you're technically not a black person because you listen to K-pop music, like that type of stuff.
To speak on what Abby just said, I got a lot of the same things said to me in high school because I would listen to like Demi Lovato, Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande, and everybody's like, you're trying to be white by listening to that music, and I'm like, no, it's just good music. Like music is music regardless. So I don't really understand that, and I still don't.
And I hate when people do that. Like if we don't act a certain way, they automatically assume that we're not trying like to act our race. And I don't even know how that works. How that makes sense. How do you act a race?
How can you act the color?
How can you act the color?
So y'all feel like us as a race, a culture, we are divided within. So the only way to make a change is if we unite within. I know you were here last week with the ladies there. One of them said the protest is fine, but we got to progress with it. So what do you guys feel about the protesting as well? Do you feel like we're getting somewhere with it, or what more can we do to how do we make it better? You know, you say no change. How do y'all feel like change is going to come?
I mean, as soon as we, like my uncle and they always say this, as soon as we stop eating at the restaurants and going to the stores that these white people own, that's when we gonna start making that change. You can hit them physically, but we need to start hitting them financially.
Systematically.
I think
You
that's
gotta
a
start
good
thinking
idea.
about people from the past. Think about Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King Jr. Rosa Parks, she didn't want to give up her seat to, you know, a white man or whatever, and she got arrested for it. But I'm pretty sure if I know my history right, you know, she stopped riding the bus for a while or whatever, and then
A lot of them did.
A lot of people did.
That's
a
money.
bus
You hit
boycott.
their
Started
pockets.
losing money and
Hit
stuff,
their
and then
pockets,
they eventually like tweaked their laws a little bit.
So back in the day, white people, they were getting us to build them cities, and those cities kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and our credentials were flicked off, and they're on there. Most cities are white. Almost all cities are white. I feel like if we get a couple, like not even a couple, if we just keep being like as a whole race, if we could all grow at one time and all throw our different seeds around the country, it's I know most of the country is already taken over, but we could have our own cities.
Like Bill does one.
And-
So we have had our own cities. Most of them have been destroyed.
Black Wall Street.
Right.
Right.
A lot of the cities. Y'all live over here in Illinois. East St. Louis was one of those prominent cities that had a lot of prominent black people that had their own banks and things of that nature, and was destroyed by this systematic racism. The system is not forced, and when they see us progressing, they want to destroy it because they know once we as a culture or race, we unite, we can do some powerful things.
They did the same thing to Black Wall Street.
Black Wall Street, another thing. Got our own Wall Street. They see us progressing and they don't like that. So they figure out a way to destroy it.
I got a
I
question.
mean, back to like y'all point about the music and movie industry, all that good stuff. I was watching this movie, and there's like scenes in movies like back in the day, like way back, like when they first started making films. They did not ever hire really black actors. What they did was they got white actors and painted their faces black. And then the white actors played this role to make us look like monsters and literally like demons almost.
Same.
And then they kind of painted their own picture of us.
Exactly.
That's what they had their kids look at.
And that's what is still going on today. They put out what they want you to see, and so our young people, you all, are growing up seeing these images of you, what they think y'all, and trying to make y'all think this is y'all. So rapping and basketball, sports and stuff is like the only thing y'all can do in order to make money and be successful, when we actually know we could do any and everything. We could be lawyers, doctors, scientists, astronauts, all this, and do it better.
So we see other kids that are already, brains are already, how I put it would be poisoned by everything that we seeing around it. We seeing gay cartoons. We seeing cigarettes on all the corner stores, cigarette wallpapers on all the corner stores.
Vapes everywhere.
Vapes. What is that? Oh yeah. Vape. That's nasty. And we seeing all of this, and the kids are seeing all of this, and they thinking that this is first off, they're babies. They soak up everything. Still, as teenagers, we still soak up a lot of things, and we might not even notice that we're soaking up a lot of different things.
Yeah, because they plant a lot of things in what you watch, and it's subliminal, so you won't notice it. But it's already in your head, and you're not even noticing it.
Right, and then we think when our parents are telling us, cut that off. Cut that. We think that they're just being mean, but in reality, they're trying to keep us away from what the higher ups, what they want us to be, what they want us to look at, the image that they want to put on us, and how they want to keep us down, what they're using to keep us down.
Going back off what he said, when my brother and I were younger, my parents would not allow us to watch BET, like when we were around like your ages or whatever. But yeah, we weren't allowed to watch BET. I didn't really listen to rap music, and she said that the reason why she did that is because she didn't want us to be seen that like as that's who we're supposed to be.
Right.
You know, she didn't want us to stereotype ourselves.
Right.
And also, like, I remember actually thinking about it. Me, my mom, and Pastor B, we all thought about it. And thing is, when y'all hear about like all these drugs coming into like our cities, when you hear about all this, y'all gotta realize we don't have connects with the Mexican cartel. We don't got connects for real. Back in the day, we didn't have them connects. So who you think was bringing?
They brought it to the country.
And then when it blows up, we assume we the faces of it.
You're right. We usually are, because that's what they want you to think. That's what they want y'all to think. But I'm going to shift gears here, and I have a question for you all. We've been talking about the police and police brutality. Have you guys as parents had to have a talk with you guys about how to react or not to react when you get approached by a police officer? I know a couple of y'all said y'all had some.
Can we just go?
Yeah, we just gonna go
Yeah,
in a
so-
circle. I know a couple of y'all already told us about some of y'all experiences, but we gonna start with you, Al, or Tay. Yeah.
So when Mom told me, she was telling me that like if I ever, when I get a car or something, she was telling me, you a big guy. I was like, yeah. And then she was like, you still gonna grow. And then she was like, they're gonna be intimidated. So what you should start doing. And my mom, she's kind of crazy, so she was saying that me and my brother need bulletproof vests, and need to ride safely and stuff. And I respect that. And she was saying, don't talk back. She said, it don't make you scary, or it makes you punk.
Yeah, that's what some people might
And then
think,
she said,
but
she said it just makes you wise. Makes you think about your actions. She said, just listen. Don't resist, even though they may think you're resisting. Just do what they say and just cooperate. And they won't. And if they do the shooting, stuff like that, and you got it on film, they know that policeman was in the wrong. And my mom said, always record everything.
Yeah, and what my mom told me, told me to actually learn the laws and just to know, because what the police like to do, they like to provoke you and tell you lies. They like to lie and tell you breaking this law or you're, breaking a
Tail light out.
violation or something. Yeah, something like that, tail light. And
Crazy.
what they do is they'd ask you and coax you into, exposing yourself. And then once they do that, they have the right to actually pull you or take you out of your vehicle and then do as they please with you. And I just think that is very crazy. But what I was taught was learn my laws, learn my rights, and protect myself with my right to own arms also, because I'd be crazy if I become another statistic or a hashtag on somebody's page. I'm shooting first. I don't care.
I gotta say is, hey, I'm not gonna be the only one on the news.
On the news. That's what I'm saying.
Anyway, when I remember having talk after after Michael Brown died, I was still younger. I was in middle school still, so I really didn't get the bigger picture. I didn't understand. It was just all right, they killed the black kid for literally no reason, and I really didn't start to understand up until recently, because I remember watching a documentary over the Central Park 7. They were all when they see us, they were all literally our ages, and the way that the policemen kind of put them in a predicament to snitch on each other. They gave them names and told them just to put a puzzle together. And then they lined up all their stories and came up with this big picture. And that's how they ended up in jail. And even today, after watching it, they said that they got a little bit of money, but money don't fix that. There's a guy that was on there. He was in jail. He got beat. He can't even talk for real. It's to the point where if they ask him questions, he's mumbling and he don't really know how to talk because of the fact that they beat him and they really didn't do anything to help him at all. And so I really started to grasp the understanding that they don't, these policemen, some white policemen don't have my best interest at heart. They don't care. They just want to kind of they want to lower our population so that they can thrive.
They want to lower our population in food, the drinks, drugs.
Yeah. So what did your parents tell you to do when you are approached by or happen to have an encounter with the officer?
All they really tell me to do is comply. They want me to just do everything. I'm going to do everything that they ask me to do. And like y'all said before, just because when you hear black people say why you pulling me over, that you don't have to give them that. Wait till they ask you the question, because automatically off the back they're why are you jumping off? Why are you snapping so quick? that just gives you, they gonna have you long. Just be quiet, let them ask you the questions, and kind of just comply. Do what they say.
Only speak when needed.
Yeah.
What about you, Greg?
I got the talk when I was 9 years old when Michael Brown died, or was really a modern day executed by a police officer. Had his hands up, still being shot, walking away, shot right in his head, on his knees. You know, like, my mom told me to just, first off, she told me to be quiet. She told me that I should already have the information. If I'm driving, I should already have or if I'm in a passenger, just be quiet or tell them to have the information. Keep your hands on the steering wheel. Don't say anything until he says something. Or if I'm still a minor at the time I get pulled over, ask for a parent. Because they can put anything against you, really. They don't like to not be in power when they're doing a traffic stop. So if they don't feel like they're in power, they're gonna try to keep you talking, and they're gonna try to get you to talk yourself into a situation you can't get out of. So I was just taught to comply.
Be quiet.
Be quiet. No sudden movements, for sure. You know, if you got a weapon, you gotta announce it.
Right. What about you, Kyla?
Personally, I don't really think that my mama really had to talk like that talk with me. I don't know if it's just because I'm a girl or something. I know she talked to my brother about it or whatever because, you know, him and his friends are stupid, so he has to talk to them. But I watched The Hate U Give, and I kind of, like, piggyback off of what her dad told her in the movie. So, like, if you ever get pulled over in a situation, put your hands on the dashboard, listen to what they say. Don't reach for nothing because you don't want them to be like, oh, you reaching for a gun or any of that. Like, just try to make sure your hands are visible so they don't shoot you. You know, listen if they say get out the car. Low-key, I wouldn't get out the car, but, like, get out the car cautiously, you know. That's about it.
Okay.
Well, I really haven't had, like, a talk until, like, recently after the whole George Floyd thing. Actually, it was just the Bill of Rights. Like, there was, like, a book made by, like, a black author about for us to know our rights. And it was, like, a little key book, but, you know, it's still good to know, so I read it as well. And it was just talking about, like, he was saying you could remember this. If certain things happen, you need to remember, like, if they're doing something wrong, that you know is not right because you know your stuff. They're gonna try to make you think that you don't know. Try to trick you saying, "Oh no, this is that." Try to switch up their words and try to make a loophole out of.
Right.
I feel like certain things that's something that's real strong. I feel like that's something that they would try to keep out of the black community.
Books.
Books. They want to keep books and libraries out of the black community.
Yeah, it was a book that he had ordered off of Amazon, and we was just reading it with me and my sister and my little cousin, just going through it. But yeah, I know some stuff that I didn't know before. So, I mean, I probably did. The brain kind of gets old. So, yeah.
I didn't necessarily get the talk. Basically, I got the talk from hearing what my mom and dad would say to my brother. So it's basically the same things. Don't reach for anything. Keep your hands where they can see them. Don't make any sudden moves and stuff like that. But one day, my dad was watching the First 48, and you know how they put people in the interrogation room. My dad said to me and my brother, if you're ever in that situation, say you want a lawyer. First thing, don't say a word. Just say, I want my lawyer. So, yeah, that was basically the talk.
So basically, everybody was told the same thing. Comply, talk when needed. Don't say more than what you need to say. Kind of.
And
If
also,
you're a minor, ask
for your parent.
and also that's also something.
Oh, and to call them, too.
Call them,
Call
yeah.
your parent.
And when they see us, that's one thing that I picked up on. They didn't allow them to bring their parents in there. They left them in there all night. They didn't let them eat. They didn't offer them. They didn't tell them that they can get a lawyer. They didn't know this, so they're just sitting there. They can't go to the restroom. They can drink as much water as they want. They can't go to the restroom. They can't eat. They can't do none of that.
They got them to a point where they were so desperate that they would do anything. To get out, that they would do anything.
And I think that's one of the reasons why your parents say, just say what's needed and make sure you ask for your parent. And I think it's a good thing that Abby had the book of, you said it's called Bill of Rights, to know what's your rights. Because like you said in the movie, they didn't know their rights. They didn't know to ask for a lawyer. They didn't know to ask for their parents. So they didn't ask for their parents. So I think it's good that you all's parents are talking to you and telling you these things, because they've seen what can happen if your child is not educated on what to do in a certain situation with the cop. Because you can be like those boys that got locked up for no reason because they didn't know their rights.
All because, and it wasn't even a black person that injured the lady.
Yeah, and we know that a lot of times it's not us that are doing these crimes, but it doesn't matter.
They knew that too.
Yeah, of course they know that.
And
But we know that it doesn't matter a lot of times, because it's not even about the crime. It's just they seen you in your skin. But how does it make you feel that your parents even have to give you this talk? And do you think that this talk will help you in those situations? Go ahead, Kenya.
I don't know. It just kind of makes me feel frustrated, because I know other white kids probably don't ever have to have this type of talk with their parents, and they could just go about their day, not even have to worry about certain things that we have to worry about.
And
so
now
yeah.
it's people talking about all lives matter. When
Your son ain't young.
Your son ain't going through, so when your kids and your son and your daughters and everything aren't going through what we're going through. So if all lives matter, then our lives would matter right now.
Exactly.
All lives can't matter till Black Lives Matter.
Right.
And also, kind of like to piggyback off what we were talking about before, like when we talk about complying, I remember watching a video of this guy complying. They thought he had a gun, and so they told him to come out of his hotel room. They told him to get on his knees. Told him to crawl towards them. They told him all this weird stuff to do, and if he messed up, they said they were going to shoot him. And he stumbled when he was crawling. He accidentally fell over, and they blew his head off. They got it all on camera.
Yeah.
I saw the same video that he said. I think we're talking about the same thing. That guy was drunk, by the way. So I don't know how the officer didn't know that he was drunk and not in his right mind. And the reason why he moved is because his pants were falling down, and he just shot him because he didn't comply.
And those officers weren't charged, by the way.
Yeah, so sometimes even though complying happens, they still, because they don't really care about the crime, you still are targeted just because of your skin. But I want to thank you all for tonight and coming out and just unloading and getting out some of your thoughts. We really appreciate it, because I feel like you guys are our future, and you have a right to speak and let us know what's going on and kind of see what y'all thinking and how we can help y'all in the future. And we want to thank everybody for watching tonight, our special edition of the Heirs of the Throne, our youth of the Lighthouse of Hope. Join us Sunday for our Sunday service at 10:30 sharp. And thank you all for watching, and have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.